ePIC blockchain technologies.
Hello and welcome to my presentation. Topic today is Mining 2.0. I'll be talking about the trends affecting mining in 2021 and 2022, as well as the industrialization of mining. My name is Henry Quan. I'm the CEO of ePIC Blockchain. ePIC Blockchain is a new company making ASICs and miners for the blockchain crypto mining market. I have over 20 years in the semiconductor market as a vice president for ATI Technologies and AMD. We help pioneer the shape of the graphics business, starting with graphic accelerators, moving to GPUs, and shaping the GPU AI marketplace as well as the gaming marketplace. So the ePIC team are engineers and board designers and ASIC designers from AMD and Qualcomm. We have 130 years of experience, building high performance products and lower power products. My team helped build some of the most successful products in crypto, including the Radeon RX 570 and the 580. And for those of your friends that aren't into crypto, my team helped build 6 generations of game consoles, including the Xbox, PlayStation 4, and the upcoming PlayStation 5 and Xbox Next. From a crypto standpoint, we did a lot of work around Grin. We did some FPGA bit streams, and we just released our first miner under the ePIC brand name, the SC200 miner for Siacoin. We have 2 more ASICs coming in the first half of 2021. So my agenda today is talk about mining technology trends, as well as the economics behind mining, and then the future industrialization of mining, which the world will get as the world consolidates. We're going to see more and more industrialization. So being technologists, we always try and get the latest and greatest, because we've been taught over the years that new technology is better. Well, is it? Not all new technology are created equal. 5 nanometer is definitely going to be better than 7 nanometer. And essentially, if you dig under the hood and see what's there, is the TSMC 5 nanometer process is superior to the Samsung process. You can see from a transistor density standpoint that TSMC offers 37% denser, it packs 37% more transistor in the same area as you are in a Samsung part. So the TSMC, you'll be able to fit 173 million transistors per square millimeter, whereas in Samsung it's 126. So more transistors equals more cores, which equals more performance. And that's why TSMC is the desired vendor for high performance. Because of the demand for performance through AI and compute, you can expect to see 5 nanometer products being priced at a premium, and as well being in limited supply. So other technology we hear talked a lot about in crypto is FPGAs. FPGAs have been around for a long time, and we've never seen FPGAs be able to match ASICs in their performance. We love FPGAs from the standpoint that we can use them to prototype or develop an algorithm for time to market purposes. But from a cost standpoint, they are order of magnitude more expensive than ASICs, and they're a lot slower than ASICs. There's been technologies talked about, which is eFPGAs, which start to rival ASIC in terms of performance, but quite frankly, we haven't seen those types of products fulfill their promise of being able to take on ASICs, except maybe in the much older nodes. Immersion cooling is another area that some work's being done on. Overall, we think this is very favorable towards crypto. The biggest challenge we have in terms of providing performance to you is heat. So we can't cool our chips enough. You imagine in your farms that how much heat you're generating in a big area. Well, imagine us that we've got this little tiny concentrated area where the chips are generating so much heat and dissipate into the bigger area. So immersion will help us dissipate the heat better and fundamentally give us more performance. Our biggest challenge in terms of delivering performance is the leakage the current leakage, which occurs with heat. So the curve goes up exponentially, that as we crank frequency, heat increases and our power consumption increases exponentially. So there's a point of diminishing returns. When we release a product, we basically pick the best point of performance and power consumption or deliver you an efficient product. Now, there are some negatives about immersion, which is that it is pretty costly today, and the density in terms of how much space an immersion cooling takes compared to air cool unit is far greater. And we haven't tested the ASIC at these specs that you'll be pushing to immersion. So this is kind of evolving, and the industry needs to work together to get from here to there to take advantage of immersion. Moving over to economics, no secret that the rewards in mining are shrinking. And in fact, we saw that over the years, that although rewards are shrinking, the coin price was increasing at huge rates, so it was able to offset the loss in earnings, on actual coins as opposed to actual total dollars that you earned. Now, with the last halving of Bitcoin, we expected to see the hash rate drop to about 90 exahashes from the 120, but it hit there momentarily and then started to increase back to the point of before halving. And that's not a good sign for miners, because fundamentally it means there's more people competing for the resources. The rewards have stayed low. In fact, rewards about half of where they were before the halving, which is to be expected. However, the increased hash rate means that there's more people fighting for the resource. So each miner is going to be making less and less. And we think that comes from two areas. One is the advent of new equipment, and the other one is through old equipment being deployed in low-cost power jurisdictions. We see a trend towards miners trying to acquire new equipment to basically regain some of the rewards that they've lost, and we see miners taking on heavy debt loads to finance new equipment. So I'll stay tuned to see where that comes out, hoping the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies increase, and that should solve our problems. But in the meantime, we have to weather the storm and figure out how do we transition, and everyone remain profitable in the meantime. So moving to low-cost power jurisdictions is another tactic that some miners are taking. So we see the advent of flare gas and low-cost power countries tout sub 2 cent power. Now, in some of these countries, you've got some geopolitical unrest, and so that's not necessarily always a good, not a good area to run your operations. Flare gas is more stable. Don't know what the uptime is. Certainly, Flare 1 is running with flare gas, as are other people. And you can see that with the low-cost power at 2 cents, even the S9 is profitable. So 4 S9s can make about $500. And when the power increases to about 3 cents, those S9s become unprofitable. Similarly, if you look at an S17, you deploy S17s on a 2 cent network, then you're going to get improved profits, and those S17s will be good in other power providers up to about 6 cents. And the S19s, of course, make double what an S17 makes, and they're profitable all the way down to 8 cents. So the combined effect of these low-cost power jurisdictions and low-cost technologies is they're going to increase the difficulty and increase the hash rate on the network. So fundamentally, that's not a good trend for miners, as your share of profits will decrease. Fab supply is another part that affects the economics of mining. You don't see it directly. We think that crypto is a very large industry, and it is. The mining rewards on crypto are over $5 billion. The hardware sales in crypto, which I'm a part of, is over $1 billion. So, those staggering numbers by comparison to other industries. However, the semiconductor industry is ginormous by comparison. So you look at a TSMC, and TSMC is estimated to do about $44 billion worth of business in semiconductors. About half of their business goes to mobile, and about 30% of their business goes to HPC, which is high performance computing. Now, high performance computing is important because crypto fits in the high performance computing segment. You can see that a large part of that market is compute, and you can see that people like AMD with their Ryzen CPUs, NVIDIA with their new 7 nanometer GPUs, and game consoles are all going to be fighting for supply in the space as they're all ramping towards 7 nanometer in the middle and end of 2021. We expect to see a supply shortage in 7 and 5 nanometer parts as both mobile and HPC fight for supply in these parts. Now, crypto is about 5% of the HPC business, relatively small. And then if you look at it from overall scheme of TSMC's business, it's about 1.3% of TSMC's business. So, any change in crypto doesn't make an impact on TSMC's business. And by and large, crypto is not strategic to the fab suppliers, as crypto is deemed as a very volatile business and pretty small by comparison to an Apple or an AMD or Sony or their other large customers. Moving to efficiency, one of the ways that you can improve your costs, of course, is to reduce your power costs. We talked about moving to low-cost jurisdictions, but there's technologies you can deploy to lower your costs. So today, most miners are using 220 volts, and we're running higher currents to deliver 220 volts. There's a lot of power loss in transmission and wires running 220 volts. The natural solution would move to higher voltages like 400 volts. And in running 400 volts, you can use lower current and therefore suffer less power loss. The chart below shows a case of what happens in 400 versus 220. So taking an example of Eaton UPS, and under various loads and conditions, you can see that 400 volts will be 10% more efficient than a comparable 220 solution. We see data centers moving even more extreme towards 48 volts direct current, and then for AC they always have to use higher voltages. So you can expect to see changes in your power delivery mechanisms and infrastructure within your data centers to operate mining. On an even broader scale, you'll see mining transformation to adopt best practices from other industries. So the PC server world is used to running technology in very high scale. You'll see professional data centers like Core Scientific coming in with big investments and trying to reshape the face of mining. They're relying a lot on today's infrastructure, but they've hired people from the server world to try and professionalize the business, if we can use that word, and adopt the best practices of PC servers. You can also see other companies like Layer 1 try and take advantage of economies of scale, and they're doing that through technology. So they've had partnerships with Crucial Energy at 1.5 cent power. They're using 10 nanometer Samsung parts, which are older technology, but through their immersion cooling and through low-cost power, Layer 1 thinks they have advantage. And also the scale of having up to $50 million of mining equipment, they're going to get a lot of Bitcoin. So, to adopt the best practice of these vendors, take a look at technology and see what you can do to leverage it. We see we talked about 400 watts. We think there's different form factors coming which are inherently more reliable, such as, blades and racks used in the server world. Those are going to be lower cost to produce from the standpoint that there's not a lot of redundant parts. They're going to be easy to service. And, fundamentally, we'll see mining form factors change a lot in the next 2 years. Cooling's there, we talked about, and we can just watch to see what's happening in the server world and try to adopt these practices in the mining world. So my closing comments are, mining is going to be a very fast evolving business. It won't be the wild, wild west that it was. You need to understand technology and see how the cost of technology and the adoption of technology will affect your practices. And one of the ways you do that is through building supplier alliances. North America is going to be a growing base of mining. North America has some of the lowest cost power in the world, and through people like ourselves making ASICs and through Lexar providing the mining pools, I think you'll see North America become more of a mining epicenter in the world. So that's the end of my presentation. Thanks very much for your time. Just a little commercial message about ePIC and our product. ePIC just released our SC200 rig for Siacoin. It features industry-leading performance and efficiency for 4x the performance of the current Siacoin miners and 62% more efficient. If you were to look at this on the ASIC miner value charts, we're in the top 10. And you can expect to see more miners coming from ePIC in 2021. So here's my contact information. You can reach me at epicblockchain.io or reach me on Telegram at Henry_epic. I look forward to meeting each one of you at a future conference. Thanks for your time and have a great day.